Officer at foodned.com. And I'm sure he could do a better job than me by introducing himself and all his experience there. So Nard, we'll hand over to you now.
Yeah, thank you very much. So I should be able, I am able now to share my screen, which will be good. So you can actually see the beautiful presentation that I made. Can everyone see my screen now?
Yeah.
Very good. So indeed, so my name is Nard Clabbers. I am since only 1.5, 2 months, the Chief Scientific Officer for a startup company called FoodNet. Before that, and some of you may have seen me in that role, before that I was the Senior Business Developer, Personalized Nutrition and Health at TNO. And TNO is a Dutch research and innovation organization. So I switched over to the startup side and brought all of the knowledge about personalized nutrition, targeted nutrition with me. And that's what I'm going to share with you a little bit. It was actually funny, the question just now on Slido, the difference, let's say, between the answers, because it actually is what I've been talking about often. Is it the environment that needs to be healthier, or does the environment, or do you need more empowered consumers to make the right decisions in that environment? So I actually chose, let's say, powerful marketing as the most important problem facing EU consumers in healthy nutrition, because it is not only, let's say, the environment, but also the marketing, also the, let's say, lack of empowerment of consumers, the lack of knowledge that they have to choose the right foods. Anyway, that was an interesting discussion. So I will, let's see if that works. Nope. Let's go like this. Okay. So I cannot go to the next slide, which is a little bit, I can. So now you see the next slide, right? Okay,
yes,
very good.
Yes.
So I'm starting immediately with the 3 take-home messages, just to make it very easy for those who are unable to follow presentations for longer than 2 minutes. So my 3 take-home messages on personalized nutrition or targeted nutrition, I'm not sure what the difference is I think that it is about trust and transparency. So I think that a lot, if you really boil it down, having targeted nutrition, having personalized nutrition is also about trusting what you are getting. And I think that trust is also based on transparency, based on the ability of people, for instance, to measure their own health, and the ability, therefore, also to measure the health effects of nutrition, and to be able to see that the advice that they are given is evidence-based. So I think this trust and transparency, that's why I put it on top, I think is actually really important. Also, I think it is about interaction. So it is about not only a supplier of information or of services telling someone, this is healthy for you, do it, but it's really more and more about a level playing field where the supplier of information and the consumer or client or citizen, whatever, interact with each other and basically learn from each other's reactions and grow together. So I really think that the idea of personalization, idea of personalized nutrition or targeted nutrition also has to do with the ability to interact between consumers and producers, for instance. And this interaction, it is obviously all about data. And the formula there says it's about your personal profile. So it's about who I am. It's about the data that I have about myself. It's about what I know about my health, about my body, but also about my psychological capabilities, about my social environment. It's about knowledge. So what do I actually know that works for me? What does a supplier actually know that would work for me? And it's about artificial intelligence, basically using all of the data that's out there to enrich the personal advice for me. So this is the 3 take-home messages. So to start the presentation on targeted nutrition, I will start first by telling what it is not. So it is not only about DNA. So many people actually still think personalized nutrition or targeted nutrition is still about measuring your DNA and giving the food based on that DNA. I think it is relevant, but it's only a very small part of the equation. It's also not about telling people what to do. So it's not about some omnipotent, company knowing everything about you and telling you what to eat. And also, that's why I put the Coca-Cola bottles there, it's not necessarily about products. So targeted nutrition is not necessarily about making different products for Sarah and Laura. It could also be helping Sarah and Laura picking the right products from the shelf. So why do I know something about personalized nutrition? It is because with these companies, together with TNO and Wageningen University, we've done 5 years of research. And in the middle, you're seeing this customer journey basically of personalized nutrition. And I won't go through it in much details. The slides I can share, by the way, but you see that this is basically an iterative cycle. So as a consumer, you are taken along this journey. Some things are measured, your health is measured, the data is used to give you better advice that empowers you as a consumer, makes you to buy different things that will change your health. You can measure that, so you will be, let's say, motivated to keep that behavior. I think that this is a very strong element, a very strong message also in personalized or targeted nutrition. So to put it in a little bit a different way, so this is my slide that I use a lot of times. So it's a very simple slide, but there's a lot of thought behind it. At least that's what I think. So it actually says that nowadays consumers mostly choose their foods based on 3 elements. And in the future, consumer empowerment, if you really take it seriously, would probably mean that consumers will base their decision on what to choose on more factors than those 3. So those 3 factors are price, taste, and convenience. So basically what we all basically use now to buy food and nutrition. So price, taste, and convenience. And towards the future, I think that apart from price, taste, and convenience, also things like health and sustainability will be important. But it is, let's say, less easy to objectify those measures. So health, for instance, you would have to measure yourself, or you would have to believe measurements on other people. So it's a little bit more difficult. But I think towards the future, it will be more and more possible to measure your health. So that block basically will become more and more important. Also on sustainability, there will be more and more transparency. There's that word again. There will be more and more knowledge on the effect, the environmental effect of foods. So that will also be, let's say, a little bit more important. So what will that mean then? So if actually the consumers are better able to measure themselves and are better able to measure their health and the effects of foods on their health, then that block basically becomes more important. And it will also mean that, apart from, let's say, in contrast to the current situation where I'm actually looking for a product, I have a product here. Now this product is telling me something, right? So this product is telling me that I am a stevige kruidkoek van Friese bodems. I am a hearty cook from, or like a candy, like a treat, from Holland. But some products also say, I give you energy, or I do this, I do that for you. I think towards the future, it will be more me who knows exactly what this thing does for me. So, and I can give myself an example because I'm a type 1 diabetic. So I actually have this one here because I know it's full of sugar, and sometimes I need a lot of sugar, so that's why I have it here. So there will be, let's say, a shift, I think, a paradigm shift from producers saying to consumers, this is good for you, to actually consumers knowing what's good for them and asking producers to get them what they need. So it will also mean that for products, I think that let's say, products will shift also slowly in the direction of more healthy products. You already see that, of course, but I think if you are able to measure your own health and the health effects of food, then let's say that health aspect becomes more and more important. I think services helping people to choose those foods will become more important. And also I think that people will want to share that information with peers. So this is, let's say, part of what I think will happen. So I have got some, I have to do this a little bit. So I've got some real world examples also, just to show you, who is doing what in the world of personalized nutrition at the moment. So for instance, this is a Nestle company, Persona, that is giving you supplements. So actually quite simple, quite straightforward. You have some questionnaire online, you fill it in, you say if you're a man or a woman, if you smoke or not, if you have stress or not, and they'll give you a personalized dietary supplement. Actually quite straightforward. This is an example from a retailer, Jumbo in Holland, that they actually have personalized nutrition now specifically for cyclists, but they will, include other sports, and eventually, of course, they will include, let's say, everyone, to really give specific personalized nutritional advice based on your goals, but also based on your specific individual characteristics. Another example is a startup company from Holland, Encore. They actually really pull you apart. So they invite you to their health engagement center. They put you on a bike, they draw blood, they give you food, they test you, and really based on everything they know from you, including your psychology, they'll give you a specific coaching process. So what some of these examples perhaps don't do enough is this idea of this iterative cycle. So to test and retest. And what we've also seen in a lot of the research is that to be able to motivate and influence people, it's really important to keep them close to the game, basically. And if you can give them feedback on a short feedback loop, it's much easier to take them along this journey of behavioral change. Because in the end, personalized nutrition is about behavioral change. And you see some companies, and I think Carbiotics is an interesting example, that actually take this approach also to their business model. So Carbiotics is a company that actually asks you to send in a stool sample every month. So every month your stool sample is checked to see if the healthy bacteria that need to be there are there. And if they're not, you can get one of their fibers, but also there's this brand of cereals that actually includes those fibers. So you can have this test, you can have a specific product, you can test if it works for you. So I think that's really a nice example of, let's say, what the future may look like for some people. So this idea basically also revolves around trust and transparency, because you have to trust, let's say, the brand. Also, you are giving them information, they're giving you advice back, you're telling them if it works or not, they're improving the advice based on that. So you are actually really in conversation, right? There is some reciprocity. So you need some kind of trust, and also you need a lot of transparency for that. And that leads me to my last slide, apart from the three take-home messages, of course, that you'll also get again. And that this reciprocity, this interaction basically led me to, let's say, coining a phrase called interactive nutrition. So which basically kind of summarizes what I've been talking about. So this interactive nutrition really is about this interplay between a supplier and a receiver of information. And it's really based on, let's say, my personal profile. It's based on, let's say, the health parameters that I can measure, but also, let's say, the social aspects, what I want from life, my goals, what I want to share, what I think is important in terms of the environment, for instance, but also how to make it fun, how to make it exciting, how to align this with my life, basically, and with my goals. And I really think that this is really about learning and growing together. It's almost like a group of citizen scientists, and that is actually what we're doing with Hub. So the presentation now doesn't have, let's say, the effects that I chose, probably because I didn't put it in presenter mode, of course. So this will help. And you can see my nice. You see with the arrow. It was very nice. I had an effect there. So that's actually why I joined Hub, right? It's because we are building exactly this. I've now also cured or solved the mystery why the computer doesn't work as I thought, because I didn't have it in presenter mode. So the 3 take-home messages you already had. So I will finish with those and finish also with my last slide, thanking a lot of my former colleagues and thanking you and inviting you to ask the questions that you want. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nard. Some great insight. I love being involved in these things as well. I'm always learning as well, like I'm sure we all are. The idea, we are a little bit tight on time, so if there's any burning question, please do shout out now. You can also send it on the chat, and Nard in the background, you're welcome to write it there. Also, we have a networking session at around 5 p.m. where we'll be able to connect you with everybody as well. Okay. So I think we're going to share another quick question for the startups. Is that right?